Gotta hit those buttons, okay? Hmm? Not yet. They gonna come in. Weather.
I don't know that.
So you said
20
it.
minutes. On the interstate.
We're live. It is 6:21 p.m., February 28th, 2024. We will call the February Stonecrest Development Authority meeting to order. I'll do a quick roll call and then we'll jump right into the agenda. We'll start with Elijah,
Present.
Jennifer,
Present.
Andrew,
Present.
Chris,
Present.
Joyce,
Present.
and Mayor is present. We have a quorum, so we shall continue. Unless there are any, well, I don't see anyone here for public comment, so we'll move past that unless there's any changes to the agenda or any additions or deletions from the group. If not, we will jump right in. Christian, do you want to go in this order? Do you want to go in executive session first?
We can
Or you
go in
wanna
this
go-
order and
okay.
get this part done, and then we'll go right into executive session.
Okay, that works. All right, let's take the first one. Film Commission.
Sure. So what I'm asking, basically what's happened over the last year or two with the commission being created was they were in charge of working with a consultant to create an overall film, music, and digital entertainment strategic plan. They completed that in November of this year. And so what I'm asking and what we had talked about before was bringing the Film Commission under the SDA. The reason for doing that is a couple of reasons. One, the Development Authority at DeKalb County, already their Film Commission is under the Development Authority as well. It gives us the ability to use and create economic impact as a result of the Film Commission. The Film Commission's study also includes in it the creation of a entertainment district, which would fit naturally within the SDA's set of properties and the experiential retail components that we have. I think that it would be a great opportunity to use to create an opportunity under the Film Commission to generate events and activities focused on tourism and activities like that, that would generate economic impact. I'll give you an example. Right now, we've kicked off the tourism brand for Stonecrest. It's called Experience Stonecrest. That is the .com. And Experience Stonecrest is, and there will be a tourism think tank that is with the businesses that are in tourism here in Stonecrest on March 7th here at City Hall, between 1 and 3. That is involving all of the businesses that are associated with tourism in the city. Now, what's happening is, so my background from Scottsdale and Glendale was running economic development and tourism. For me, it was looking at Stonecrest, looking at all the assets and saying, okay, we've got all of these different amenities from Arabia Mountain to all the other components that live and breathe in here, and then part of what we've talked about with City Center, everything. And so we're driving this entertainment culture that can happen here. So in doing so, we started this and we programmed out. I was walking the mall with Vaughn Irons and the ownership of the mall, and they were talking about the vacant space, 55,000 square feet of vacant space at round 1 at the mall. And I was like, you know what this screams? It screams event space. It screams conference space. And it's right here in the mall. And there's the hotel right across the street. I go, why don't we activate this for events? And so I called up James over at Discovered Cab, and he's been working with a group called Sugarbird Boxing. Sugarbird Boxing does Golden Gloves boxing events, and it normally brings in, they're doing it quarterly, and it's over a weekend, and it brings in about 600 boxers. Every boxer has about 2 to 3 other people with them from family and things like that. And it's for 3 nights. So what that does is that fills up all of our hotels all weekend long. It's basically 1,800 room nights is what you call it in tourism. And we lock them in for the year. So they will have one event every quarter for the whole year, generating at minimum $1.5 million in economic impact to the city. So, what normally happens in those situations is that those when you're attracting those things, they normally ask for some kind of economic tool to offset the lease of facilities. And normally you'll discount that, or there will be a fund set up where you do that. And like in this case, they requested an additional $15,000 to offset the lease costs for the year. Now, we didn't have that. It's not in our budget or in our fund right now. I'm working with the city to try to find ways to do that. Either way, it's still moving forward this year. But there will be competition with Conyers and Covington and things like that for this as we start to do that. But very few locations have 55,000 square feet in a mall area. So next to a bunch of those hotels like that. So our location is perfect for this kind of thing. And it's kind of reinvigorating the mall from that perspective. So I'm asking to take the film commission on. The film commission exists right now with a self-appointed board. What I would also suggest is that the SDA choose the board that sits on that commission, and from that perspective that we use the business retention expansion component of economic development in the city of Stonecrest to reach out to the studios who are not currently represented on that board. And to me, that is a big miss. We've got 4 major film studios here in the city of Stonecrest, and not a one of them is represented on our film commission. So what I would like to do is bring that under economic development from that perspective and drive that component to create events for tourism and drive that other component. All the other pieces to this also fit within the confines. If you read through this, and I can give you the recommendations, I think that this has the recommendations in kind of an abbreviated format, but a lot of this is already being included into the economic development work plan. This last Monday, we got the economic development plan, strategic plan approved. So now it's weaving all of that into a work plan with metrics and accountability to drive economic development for the city. And this is a key part of that piece for tourism.
So I'll add to that a little bit. The Film Commission today is a commission of the city, but it does not, well, at least it has not, but it can, generated enough revenue to cover the expenses of itself. So the way it's structured today, in the city budget, we allocate a small amount of funds through the economic development department to kind of fund some of the activities that they do throughout the year. But that structure has made it very difficult for decisions to be made because the funds are actually sitting in the city's budget and they're sitting in a department of the city. So while Christian is the director and ultimately responsible for that budget, you've got a commission of people saying, that's my money, let's spend it the way we want to spend it because it was allocated for those purposes. But at the end of the day, in practicality, because it's in his budget, he's responsible for every dime. So the commission can't send an invoice to finance and say, pay this, right? Or request for the city to buy, whatever materials or supplies they need for, let's say, all call or a casting call. All of that, the commission can't just go into finance and say, do these things because we're having an event. So all of that has to run through economic development, which means he's got to do his due diligence and checks and balances and making sure that, you know, those vendors are the correct vendors, that they have their W-9s, that they are registered with the state. So when you have kind of the commission kind of feeling like, well, we get together and we decide, like, our board, what we want to do for the year and what our activities are, and they kind of set that, and then they hand it over, there's still kind of an operational difficulty with a body that sets activities, but a different body that oversees and is responsible for the public funds. So that's made it slightly difficult. So we were trying to figure out, you know, the film commission is not revolutionary to Stonecrest, right? There are other film commissions in other cities and certainly in our county. We were like, well, how does the county's film commission do this? Because we do know that the board of commissioners does allocate funds in the county budget to the development authority. And so we were just trying to figure out how that works. And so when we pull back the layers, what we realized was that the county's development authority is where the film commission sits. So when the county allocates funds to the development authority, just like the city allocated funds to this development authority, then the development authority with the film commission runs its budget, right? So now it's not in the city's budget. It comes over to the development authority and you run it just like you run any other activity. But our film commission was set up a little differently. It was almost set up like it was a planning and zoning commission, where it's kind of making decisions that do not impact the budget, but it really does. So it is significantly different from like the planning commission. So we're like, oh, that's why we're having these operational difficulties, because it's probably not in the right place. It probably needs to come over to the development authority.
Economic doesn't drive and kind of just trying to educate and train. But and the CAB has it so that the director of the film commission actually is under economic development of the CAB. So the position still exists under economic development.
Right.
Everything, but the deal is that you're driving an initiative that is focused on a goal versus it's just kind of, it's swimming. There's all kinds of ideas and things, but there's no overarching like directing that group from that perspective to make it work. And so I think that if we bring it under the SDA, focus it towards being a group that generates economic impact, manages events, works to sit there and create events, and given what we've got planned again with future development for future events, entertainment space, and driving that economic impact there, the development authority is the perfect place to house that film commission, to where money generated can help with future economic development under the development authority.
Chris, two things. Can you expound upon self-appointed when you said that?
But you mean
The committee.
yeah, currently the committee is just, they vote themselves in basically because they're there.
Well, the way they got there was that the city council appointed them. So they have stayed on the board. Like, we have not reappointed anyone. So they serve until, in perpetuity, until someone else is appointed, right?
And what council person in the film committee falls under? Who, what district or whatever, or just everybody on the council?
Right, so each of us made a recommendation for an appointment.
No, but I don't mean that, I mean on that. Like, who do they report to? That's the issue.
Well, that's one, that is essentially the issue, is they're not reporting to anyone today. So the chair of the film commission is Rob Turner, but that's with or without his elected seat. So it's not contingent upon an elected official being its chair. So like Rob, without being elected, is still the chair. That was really his baby. I mean, that was his subject matter expert. That's where he, his expertise is. That's where his career was. So we knew that Stonecrest, we knew that South DeKalb, which is now Stonecrest, was big in film and entertainment, but it was running through the DeKalb Film Commission. Then when the city became a city, they were like, well, we got to work together. We can't just have autonomy to say, yes, we will film in Stonecrest, where they used to have that autonomy because it was all unincorporated DeKalb. So when the city became a city, they needed a group or an arm to work with the county's film commission to be able to have these film activities here. So we created the Stonecrest Film Commission.
So, go ahead, no,
I just wanted to read something to you guys. The Savannah Regional Film Commission is the central point of contact for entertainment production in our region. We promote the Savannah region as a premier film destination for motion picture, television, commercial production. Our office functions as a liaison between film companies and various municipalities in the Savannah region. We also provide location assistance in coordination with local film businesses. Then it says, the Savannah Regional Film Commission is a division of the Savannah Development Authority. In addition to the Georgia tax incentives, the Savannah Regional Film Commission offers a local entertainment production rebate available for qualified productions. So I wanted just to let you know that Savannah does this and they do it very well. And their model is just like the mayor and Christian was explaining, that being under your economic development, you're all going toward the same goal, promoting economic development in the city. One, obviously, the film commission does it through film because that's kind of like a specialty, and then y'all do it through everything else.
Right.
So,
And they can't, if they're, as they, all these things, as it currently sits with the city, it can't generate funds
right,
to itself.
okay,
So if like, let's say, again, one of their focuses is an entertainment district. If you have an Oktoberfest in a park and you have it closed off and you're charging $10 per head to come in, under the current structure, there's no way that you can charge that because
There's no way to
there's
collect.
no way to collect the money.
Yeah, the city can't,
So
because we're a city, we cannot generate, we generate revenue, but that revenue has to break even with the service. So we essentially, you can't make money, right? We're a government, just like most nonprofits, you can only generate the revenue that it takes to provide the service. Okay, so you can't have a surplus, right? So in an event like that, the film commission being under the city, we would have to give all that to the DeKalb Film Commission because the city could not generate revenue from it, because we would have to prove that that revenue was used for some activity and there was no surplus of it.
And
So-
as the SBA owns the land, you can generate income based off of the SBA's
So-
ownership of the land.
right. So we're proposing that they be under the Development Authority or Economic,
So under the Development Authority, so the Development Authority and the Film Commission exist to help produce the initiatives and strategies of the city's economic development department.
Got it.
So it all works for the same mission, but it's two separate entities.
Okay.
Because the Development Authority can generate revenue far beyond its requirement to,
So the film commission, the strategic plan for the film, music, digital entertainment and the economic development strategic plan, they are merged together in their drive. So at the end of the day, it's my responsibility to get all of that accomplished. But one of the things that we don't have is, right now the development authority is a natural way. It's why it's created that way. So that way, under the development authority, you can start generating funds, which we have to generate funds to pay back the loan, anything to the city, anything, and then from a standpoint of there and using that as well to provide economic tools, however we see that in the future, anything to incentivize economic development and that impact their growth.
so we Development Authority have to generate funds so that we can provide incentives. So the planning commission, don't look at me, Victoria. The film commission needs the ability to generate revenue so that it can handle the film and entertainment tasks of economic development. And it's very difficult for them to do that sitting under the city. Also, it's just impractical trying to get them to their operation and Christian's responsibility over department funds because those are taxpayer dollars, but they're not generated from activities or entertainment. Those are taxpayer funds that fund the economic development budget, which will be a different subset of funds that create the development authority's budget and the film commission's budget. So we feel like it should have been placed there anyway. But now that we've had time to kind of look and see what were some of the strengths, what were some of the weaknesses, we realized that the film commission should be under the development authority. And it is, again, that way in Savannah. It's set up this way in DeKalb County. And it also gives, like we said, a point of contact for who's overseeing and ensuring that these film and entertainment initiatives are being done. So Christian's tasked with taking the film plan, the film and entertainment strategic plan, taking the economic development strategic plan, and taking those plans and bringing them together so we see that manifest somewhere. But he has the option to use different arms to get that done. He can use some of his department, he can use the development authority, he can use the film commission. He has many different avenues to get those things accomplished. But who is accountable to the group that does that? Who is giving orders to in a sense, orders to the film commission to say, here's a task that came out of the film study. And so your activities should be geared around these goals, right? And then what are those activities, and are they generating funds, and are we now self-sufficient? So there's kind of got to be someone who represents the development authority in the city to kind of guide those activities. Right now, there's kind of a group doing what they do in the film and entertainment industry, which is great because they're the subject matter experts, but there's got to be a little bit of structure around how they do that.
They're in service to the film studio. All of them. None of them are in the film studio. So they're not at the head, they're in service to, and part of it is that they're able to generate revenue. They're doing an activity by the film. And this plan that was created, strategic plan, is very, very wide and very deep. Like when it dives into the entertainment district component, that's taking it into another level in economic development that the film commission, even if you have, is diving into. Gives you a real opportunity to create some serious impact.
So what is this going to affect?
No, that's what it has.
These are the votes.
Yeah.
I say,
We
well,
vote to go under, and then
Yeah.
we'll meet with them and kind of walk them through the new structure.
So the next step after, if it's proposed to do so, do they come to this meeting and
No.
then, so this meeting, so you manage that? You
Basically.
manage-
I think it's your staff.
3.
And so when we say manage it, of course, there will be a chair of the film commission, and that chair is that singular person that will work mostly with Christian. And he's already an ex officio member of the film commission, actually, so am I. So I mean, it's not like he's not already working with this group,
Yeah.
but he's not managing 6 or 7 more people. Like, he doesn't really manage us, right? They
Right.
meet, they talk, but there's a one person go-to kind of every day in
Right.
between. So he's picking up another one person-ish.
Yeah.
In his day to day.
It's kind of activating the whole group to drive towards the sole purpose of creating impact for the community. And now I'm just kind of.
We want to do more than just have all calls and
Right.
activities, and the education piece is extremely important, and they do a fantastic job at that. One of the things I think that is super beneficial all year long to our community, where they bring these experts and services that industry that serves the film entertainment world. So the makeup artists, the hairstylists, the folks that do the costumes, the folks that do the cabling and the lighting, and I mean, showing our young folks and even adult folks that there's still lucrative careers in film and entertainment behind the camera, is significantly impactful. So they do a great job at that. I mean, their education and their activities and how they educate the community, I think it rivals most. But we want to be able to give them the resources and tools and expertise to be able to do things beyond education that really connect our film industry here. Right now, a lot of that runs through Shelbia, who is the executive director for the DeKalb Film Commission. So she still receives all the film permitting. She still kind of coordinates where those locations are. Not kind of, she does. I mean, she really does all the film work for the city,
Well, they
but
actually
through the
submit
film.
their film application. Okay.
Yeah, so we have the film app, but Shelbia is Shelby is really the one, because they're still in the county, right? So we're not disconnecting. Matter of fact, Shelby sits on the film commission.
Yeah.
So we're not disconnecting it. But it is just a way to get them, to help give them the resources, human and financial, to get into the other space, which is really connecting the film and entertainment activity to Stonecrest, which is different than the education component, that they do a very good job.
And for me, it's looking at also, there's a component that hasn't been discussed, and I don't think anybody's really talked about it. I'm talking about it with Discover the Cat. And from a standpoint, it's film, music, and digital entertainment.
Right.
And so, while film and music is good, digital entertainment includes esports. Esports is the fastest growing programming opportunity to impact young kids of all ages and all economic backgrounds that there is. We have space at that mall at 55,000 square feet to hold tournaments. We're working with a movie company who's redoing the theater there. And then they're leaving an additional 50,000 square feet open for events. And so we're gaining conference space. We're creating that opportunity at 55,000 square feet, 50 to 100,000 square feet is perfect for e-gaming. And so, and then tying that in with the film commission and driving that. The one thing that I did before everything, and I'd like to sit there and bring here, is sit there and underprivileged kids. The one thing that all of them have are phones. It's the one thing that the parents will come out of pocket. Even if it doesn't matter what happens, normally they have some kind of device some way. And the deal is that with those phones, children can learn to program and involve themselves in these sports. And these sports is, again, fastest growing. Matter of fact, most of the kids that sit there and they'll watch that over watching the Super Bowl now. So, again, this is another component that we're not even tapping into, that the minute you say esports, you'll get high schoolers, you'll get middle schoolers, and get that engagement and that involvement. And I think that it's another way that this group can really impact, when I say this group, the film commission, it's the film, music, and digital entertainment, name, but it's under film commission. It's one way that we can really start to generate positive impact to the youngsters that are here. People in the film community. Everybody wants to be a YouTuber, but a lot of people want to, want to be, any of us who have kids, maybe one that hasn't had an
So with the film commission, if we vote to put them under us, where does their money go?
Where does the money go?
Yeah, do they create a new bank account? Do they have an existing bank account?
They don't
Is it
have-
our bank account?
All of their funds today are in the city's budget. They're in economic development. So
Right.
they
There's
don't
no general-
tangibly move any funds, and they don't generate any funds today.
So when
When
they
they
do
do,
generate
it would be
funds, where
under
does it go?
it would be one, it would still be our development authority bank account. So it would be one bank account with different lines, just like it's one city account and there's departmental budgets. It would be the exact same replica. It's the development authority budget and there's multiple lines.
They have to have some big bucks in there.
So then.
We hope so. We hope we can help generate that.
We then are in control of their funds, or now they have free flowing, right now they can't come to you or come to finance and submit an invoice. Would it then work that way
They have
with
to go
us,
through me
or
to
how?
submit a request.
Today they have to go through them. When it comes here, it will be our treasurer, we will spend money on their behalf.
The
So
idea
it's
is the
still,
city
it's
has-
still the
Will
same
they-
group.
Will they, okay, so right now they're not, will they come with any, even though the money's over there, we get that money over here?
It's like,
So they start from
That's
zero,
in there,
basically.
bro.
come up
So
with-
they like broke right now. They're broke like, so, but when they make money, would that go to our bottom line that we?
But we can't tap into that.
it's one development authority.
So the money that we owe, that we, you and I were talking about, you know,
It's one
pay that
development
off.
authority, right?
So I'm looking at multiple revenue streams here.
So after we vote, then the council have to approve it, or is we're?
No.
It's just our vote?
I don't think so, but we'll double check. I don't,
no,
And then, just for clarity purposes, the lease with the mall, you mentioned there being somewhat of a shortage for the boxing event.
I
One,
wouldn't say shortage, they've made a request for an incentive.
and that would come from us.
Well,
If
if they were,
Hypothetically, that-
hypothetically, if they were to apply through our incentive package application,
Mhm.
they would follow like anyone else.
And there's a request to create an entertainment district in this, and that entertainment district will likely falls in SBA land.
Sure,
Discovered, sorry,
go ahead.
Discovered the cab. Do they have discretionary funds to help with some of this, since they're coming over here with zero?
Discover the cab.
Mhm.
They
So I
do-
wouldn't,
they
not
have-
discretionary.
Right.
So through our hotel motel fund,
Right.
there's a certain percentage that stays with the city, and then a certain percentage that goes to the designated marketing organization. The city's DMO is Discover DeKalb. So so it's an 8% tax, 3% goes to our DMO, who is Discover DeKalb, and then the other 5% stays with the city. So
Okay.
we give that to Discover DeKalb, and Discover DeKalb uses those funds, so it's not discretionary.
Okay.
They use those funds to help promote and market and recruit tourism into the city of Stonecrest. So it's not limited to film and entertainment, it's tourism in general. So yes, in a sense, Discover DeKalb definitely helps with tourism in general, whether that's entertainment, retail, esports, it's all tourism under that one arm.
Discovered the cab, I worked with Discovered the cab, they, went in, but, and offered $20,000 to bring them to Stonecrest. So that's part
So
of.
who-
it.
To the boxing,
boxing, okay,
right,
okay.
yeah. So that was
It's
that.
not
right.
Discovered the cab didn't do anything,
They did,
a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. And they do, they are very supportive of Stonecrest and
I had a
whenever we
question for
ask.
that.
And understand that the more room nights you generate.
Right.
It
We're
starts to
gonna
build our
try-
hotel motel fund.
Yeah.
That means that there are
That
3%
means that they've gotta spend
increases.
money.
and
Yes.
They gotta put
Yeah,
it back
that
in
makes sense.
Stonecrest, so, yeah.
And-
For that.
We can.
And this is the boxing event is a done deal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then,
We're also filming a documentary. So,
which is more revenue potentially, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the going back to the lease, so if they're leasing it for the period that they're doing the event,
Uh-huh.
or they're getting it for the entire year?
or just for the time.
Okay, 'cause
Yeah,
that's
or
what I
it-
need to know. make
So
sure
the
that-
idea is to start, what we're trying to do is get
Have
one
proof of concept,
for
right?
example,
Mhm.
for a year.
Mhm.
Then we start programming. the space. Keep programming the space, and you're talking to a person that fired the Phoenix Coyotes that they want to.
Mhm.
I kicked them out of an arena. And that was controversial, but I made $9 million more the next year as a result thereof. Because it's about generating revenue, income, from events, and taking control of your time period and maximizing that for economic impact all the way around.
Right.
So,
So when we get to a more mature place, we would have done what Discover DeKalb did. But we're not quite there yet. But that's literally an example of what we are here for. is to be able to provide these economic tools or incentives, as we call it, to help bring business and attraction and entertainment and development to the city. We just weren't in a position as this development authority to be able to do it this time. But as we mature and generate revenue, those are the things that they'll come to us for. So similarly with the film commission, if there was a huge film, let's say there was a huge film festival, right? And there was a Stonecrest Film Festival here. Well, the development authority, although our overarching arm, the film commission, would have their hands very busy in that film festival. And that festival would generate revenue. That revenue would come to the development authority. But within that budget, you allocate certain funds for certain things. So, we'll have administrative costs where we cover the cost of our attorney's fee. And then we'll have a line for the film commission and the cost that they have. So it's one budget, but there's different departments within that budget or different codes that are assigned to different expenses and revenue lines. So, but because we have our MOU with the city, our finance department in the city will keep all of that under control and regulated and set it all up correctly. And so there's still another arm that's watching over that, overseeing that, administrating that. So it's not something like the 6 or 7 of us will have to we'll get budget reports, we'll look at it, but it's nothing that this board is going to take on more work for. We're not going to be parents or babysitting them. Christian will have more of the day-to-day. Laren will serve as the attorney for them, just like she serves as attorney for us because she's the attorney for the development authority. And all the things in the MOU administratively would apply to them just like it applies.
And I'm not looking to change the film commission structure currently. We still have Rob Turner, we still want to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, so he's still, okay.
Oh, so Brian didn't automatically take that?
No.
Oh, okay, that's
No.
what when I.
Yeah, it's not
heard you say
connected
that-
to a council member.
Oh,
It's just that was his thing.
That's
So
his passion.
no one else was like, I want it. You got it?
That's your thing to do.
Yeah, no, it actually empowers Rob to
Yeah. He can take a lot of the, like we were talking about, the work plan. So Christian will have the work plan from the economic development strategic plan that we just passed on Monday. So we need to send that out to the board too. The economic development plan.
Oh, yeah.
So that you all, have a copy of it and kind of glance back at it when you have a chance, because it is the roadmap to economic development for the city. But we just passed that Monday, so we'll email that over. And then the film, television, and digital entertainment study also has tasks and work plan in it to help build that industry. So we'll send that over too. But it gives Rob the ability to really take that plan and the tasks out of it and start really turning those things so we can see that tangibly.
see, when you see I'll send them both to you, the plan for some of the digital entertainment and then the economic development plan, to see how the tourism piece and the digital entertainment piece and the entertainment district, they kind of work.
Yeah.
And with that, with tourism, so, and economic development, so it's kind of a joint effort, it's a natural kind of marriage. But put that on under the SDA so that it can be a viable source for economic development for the future.
Yeah.
You ready to vote or?
Yeah. When George say all hearts and minds clear.
Are you ready
Mayor
for the
Pro Tem,
question?
Are you ready for the question?
I've never heard that before.
I know. I like it though. It's kind of like gives you one more chance to think about any more questions you might have when you ask that. You're like, but so if we are okay, if we don't have any more questions, if someone will put a motion on the floor to get it right, it's on the agenda. To move the film commission, the Stonecrest Film Commission under the development.
Make a motion to move the film commission under the development authority.
A second.
Right,
I just wait a minute.
Alright.
They're properly moved and seconded to move the Stonecrest Film Commission under the Stonecrest Development Authority. All those in favor, please respond with yay. All those not with nay.
Yeah.
Yay for me as well. That motion passes unanimously. So we'll take the task on to inform the film commission.
Oh, that's
and
what I was about
start
to
to,
ask. I don't know where.
and get them up to speed too, and just kind of walk them through the structural thing. And we'll get those other two plans over to you. They're hefty, so take your time reading them. It's a good read, but it's a big read.
You'll get a link.
Is that from the study, the economic development?
Economic development?
Yeah, I remember I sent it a couple times or something.
Yeah, it was 221 pages for that one.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
well
The-
involved in it.
The film is digital.
Yeah, so it's not that much smaller. Yeah. It's a good read though,
Just
but
sit there
it's,
and have a cup of coffee.
it's some public policy.
Sit on the sofa.
If you want to nerd out on public policy,
Yeah, huh?
You read an audible
there you
version.
go.
Can we get a
Get the
physical
auto.
copy?
Sure.
Yeah.
Would you like a physical
Yeah.
copy?
I like it. No, I like it.
You want one too?
Yeah.
You want the auto?
Why, I have to
One
say,
question for
Fine, in the
you.
car.
Concerning the boxing scenario.
Yeah.
If we were fortunate to win it, and the way it's set up, getting the help from the tab, discovery, whatever, is there opportunities where revenues would flow to us at this point, or is that's too premature?
So one, it is actually happening. I mean, it just, the development authority didn't have a say in it or a stake in it this time. But it is definitely happening. Matter of fact, they've already started advertising it. So the city will see indirect, I lost my word. We'll see
1.4 billion.
indirect revenue, direct revenue back to the city through all of the spending that will happen in the city during the event. So of course, we'll get the hotel revenue, we'll get the restaurant revenue, we'll get the retail revenue. So all the revenue that generates as a result of the event, we'll see that direct impact come back here through many different channels. Will the development authority see a check? Not this go around.
Yeah.
But the city's budget, the city will see an increase because of the hotel motel tax and some of the other spending. So then that will thus increase for the city, and then the development authority. Should the city continue to fund the development authority, we'll kind of see it. So in this go around, it's a little more indirect for the development authority, but direct to the city's economy. But as we incentivize these kind of projects, then we'll see a direct impact back to the development
What
authority.
about the other 3/4? Will we, the development authority, see an incentive or any benefit?
Well, I think that's,
Is this for a
I mean,
year?
that's maybe. So if the next time they come and then we incentivize that next, so there's four,
There's
right?
four
There are four events.
already booked, right?
Through the year
So
so-
there's other events that can happen
as a result of it. Yeah.
that, and then understand that all the rest of future planned events in that space it would be under the S2 at that point.
Right.
So,
So we will, long story short is yes, just in the future events, just not the first one.
Who coordinates all of that? That's got to be big.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, themselves, Sugarberts,
Mhm.
and then they're of course working with the owner of this space that they're leasing. And then it's huge on Christian side, very huge. I mean, it's everything from making sure that our restaurants
That's what I was going to ask
are
you.
prepared
I
for
was-
the influx.
I was trying to
Dominique's
think,
gonna be
maybe I
open.
should
Make
mention
sure
that
we-
because I was wondering about.
It's a lot of, we're touching a lot of
Shopping.
different things to help make sure that this is an experience that is enjoyable for everyone, those who are visiting, those who are here. So this city will be busy, there will be traffic moving, there will be people here. But remember that they're spending not just time, but money. So we'll see the trails pick up, we'll see a lot of activity on the mountain. We'll see of course, the mall will be buzzing because the event is literally right there. We'll see South River take off. So we'll see people moving around the city.
Is
doing
the
a lot of
winery gonna
different
be
things.
supposed to
I
be
don't
up
know.
and going in March?
I hope so, yeah.
So that would be great. I've had some questions.
well, and then we're on the tourism side, where the hotels have agreed to allow us to run on their info channel, 30-second to a minute long video with the mayor promoting
Welcome.
Stonecrest for tourism and activities and things like that. There would be a QR code they can scan, so they can experience Stonecrest, which then will have a list of different activities in the area and different local vendors and things like that, places to go and see and things like that. So it's started 3 months ago. Thinking about 5.5 months in, so it was just sitting there and kind of crafting and talking and sitting there and putting things together. Like I said, part of our real estate discussion here in a minute is about stuff that started happening when I was 2,000 miles away and started putting that together. So I started thinking about it. I think that all of this activity is going to be a huge opportunity. Create some real impact.
Yeah. And things will spur from this. That's why we really want to get that film commission in a place where they can start doing some real activity, because film festivals will be huge here. And we have just a lot to showcase on the film and entertainment and digital entertainment side. So we know this is just the spur of many things. So let's move on to the next one, so we're not here all night, although I love you all so much. I know we've all got other things to do. So you want to go to B, or you want to jump? B is future marketing. You want to do that, or you want to go to real estate? Go to real estate? All right. So we'll need a motion to, you gotta use the, okay. Let's do a motion real quick to go into executive session on real estate matters, and then we'll let you go.
Make a motion, we go into executive session on real estate.
Second.
It's been probably moved in second. I was a yay, all those not with it's been unanimously approved. We are now in executive session. Jamez, if you will pause us, we are now in executive session. Chris, you're free.
Let me look behind back. See what it is.
Looks like we're back. All right, we're back live. We're back live.
Oh, yeah.
We're back live. We're back live.
Okay, yes.
Can we have a motion to exit executive session and return back to the regular scheduled development authority meeting?
A motion exit the executive session.
I second that motion.
It's been properly moved and seconded to return to exit executive session and return to the regular scheduled SDA meeting. All those in favor, please respond with yay. All those not with nay.
Yay.
Yay for the mayor as well. That passes unanimously. If you will, please put a motion on the floor to accept the minutes from the executive session.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from the executive session.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to accept the minutes from executive session. All those in favor, please respond with yay. All those not with nay.
Yeah.
Yay for the mayor as well. That passes unanimously as well. So we have exhausted the agenda for tonight. Good discussion, exciting progress. Is there anything else that we need to discuss? All
Do we not
hearts
have
and
any,
minds
we
clear?
didn't have any marketing items?
No, I think we talked about marketing throughout the first conversation with the boxing and the other activities.
Good stuff.
We have a March meeting scheduled, so thus far it does not conflict with any holidays or events as of right now. There is a date though. I can't remember my password. What is this? Nope. And it's not March, by the way. I feel like it's later in the year that we need to adjust. I feel like it's later, maybe November. Okay. If I don't grab it in just 2 seconds in November, then the next time we meet for our March meeting, we'll talk about it. The city council, we had to move a meeting. We had to move a committee meeting, and I think it landed on a fourth Wednesday, but I just can't remember what month on top of my head. But when we meet again in March, I know it's not March. It's later in the year. When we meet in March, I'll have that date for you. So we'll need to consider changing that meeting day. But nonetheless, thus far, March 27th is our next meeting. Anybody have any conflicts right now that they know of for that meeting?
27.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right, well, if anything comes up, you know how to reach us. But otherwise, we'll see you on the 27th.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. We'll officially call the meeting adjourned. 8:06, Jemaz, thank you. Oh, I guess we need a motion to adjourn. Sorry. Take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
And properly moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor with yay, all those with nay, you can stay.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Have a good night. That's what I tell you. You can say nay, but you gonna stay. Jemaz, we're good to go.
It's
Thank
right
you.
before you go out.